Good morning, guys. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Good morning. You are audible, sir.
Okay. My screen is also visible to all of you, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in our previous session, we have completed our collection framework. Collection in the sense we have completed our generic collections, right? From today and in our next two sessions, mostly tomorrow and Sunday, we are trying to complete the concurrent collection. With that our collection chapter is going to be completed, right? So if I open the course syllabus, okay, right? So we have completed this one. Chapter 6 completed, 7, 8 we have not started. You can see this is the things we have already covered. And generic linked list. Till generic linked list, we have covered all the things, right? From today, I'm going to pick these two things. And these four things we are going to talk tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, right? So with that, our collection framework will be completed. And mostly from Monday, we are going to start one of the more important concept that is called asynchronous programming, right? Okay, so let's start today's session and let us start discussing what is exactly the concurrent collections, right? So what is exactly the concurrent collection? That is what we are going to discuss, right? So from C Sharp 1.0, the System.Collections framework introduced. And these collections, whatever available inside this collection, System.Collection frameworks, they are non-generic collections. You can take the example of ArrayList, Hashtable, stack, queue, sorted list, right? Those are going to be your non-generic collection. Why they are non-generic collection? Because they are not type safe. Why they are not type safe? Because they work on object data type. As they work on object data type, as they are not type safe. So once you create a collection of array list or a hash table or stack or queue, you can store any type of data. As you are allowed to store any type of data, then what is the problem we are going to face? We face type mismatch at runtime, right? For example, you intended to create a collection to store integer number, and you create one array list. But as you storing some integer values, that is fine. But somehow by mistake you store some string values. Then when you use a loop, right? When you are using a for each loop, and while you are using for each loop, accessing the element, right? Then at some point of time you might get some runtime exception because of type mismatch. And why type mismatch? Because we are allowed to store different types of values, right? As well as these non-generic collection classes will degrade your application performance. Why? Because as it is working on object data type, if you are storing a value data type, right, that value data type will be converted to object data type, performing boxing. And while you are retrieving the data, that object data type will be again converted back to value data type and performing the concept called unboxing, right? Unboxing and unboxing are very bad from performance point of view, that is we have already seen, right? So to overcome this problem, right, in C Sharp 2.0, the System.Collections.Generic framework introduced, right? That is nothing but your generic collections. And as part of this collection framework, right, you can see you have a list, dictionary, stack, queue, and many more. And all these generic collection classes, right, they operate on some specific T data type, right? So T in the sense, while creating the collection, you have to specify what type of a data you want to store in that collection, right? For example, if you specify in the, for example, taking this list of T, if you specify T is a integer, means this collection is going to store only integer values. If you try to store other than integer values, then it will give you some compile time error. What it means? It means these collection classes are type safe. These collection classes, what available in generic, right? They are not going to do any kind of boxing and unboxing. Means what? They will improve the performance of your application, right? So what is the issue with this System.Collection framework? Now they are not type safe, and they are going to perform boxing and unboxing. These two problem we can overcome in this non-generic collection classes. Means now it is type safe. You have to specify the type, what type of data you want to store. Boxing and unboxing is not there. That is fine, right? It will give you better performance. Then what is the problem with this collection framework, right? Thread safe. Right, this thread safety problem is not only available to this non-generic to this generic collection classes, but also available to this non-generic collection classes. What is thread safe? Right, thread safe means whenever we are going to declare any generic collection type, we need to specify the type that is going to held by the generic collection, right? So this is nothing but a thread safe. Right, what is type shape? See, type shape means what? Now whenever we are creating a collection of a list type, we need to specify the type, what type of data you want to store in the collection, right? And that type of data you are going to store, right? And as you are working on the actual data type, right, boxing and unboxing is not there, then but the problem with this collection classes is they are not thread safe, right? What do you mean by not a thread safe, right? Not thread safe means what? Now, if you are developing a multi-threaded application, right? And if that collection, right? Suppose you are creating a collection of a list, and if that list collection is going to be used by multiple thread at the same time, right? Then you will get unexpected output. The behavior of the application is going to be different, right? So sometimes you might get some runtime exception, right? And this is the problem of these collection classes, and this is because the collection classes what they are providing to us, they are not thread safe, right? So generic collections are not thread safe. So as a developer, it is our responsibility to provide thread safety. For example, let's say we have a dictionary collection, and that dictionary collection is shared by several threads, then we may face some concurrency issues when two or more threads try to access the same dictionary collection at the same point of time, while some kind of operation. For example, both the thread are trying to add the element into the collection, both the thread trying to remove some item from the dictionary collection at the same time. If they are performing at the same time, then we will get the thread safe issue. Okay, let us try to understand this with one example, right? So basically, you can see I'm creating one dictionary collection, right? This is going to be my shared object, and what I'm trying to do, I'm having one method called M1, and inside this method, I'm using a for loop, and I'm trying to add some element to this collection, right? Element to this add collection, dictionary collection. And after adding, I'm just making this thread to sleep for 100 milliseconds, right? Then this method 2 exactly going to do the same thing, right? It is also trying to add some element into this dictionary collection, and after adding, it is also going to sleep for 100 seconds. Then what I'm trying to do, I'm creating one thread, and you know what is this, right? So basically, thread means what? You need to provide the method name, right? That you want to execute by this thread. So here I want this method 1 to be executed by thread T1. I want method 2 be method 2 to execute by thread T2. So I just specify M1 method 1 to the constructor of this class, and method 2 the constructor of this class. So can anybody tell me in this case which delegate is going to be used? So while you are using this constructor, but internally one delegate is going to be used. Which delegate? So can anybody tell me out of this four constructor, which constructor in this time is going to execute?
The first one.
First one,
Start.
thread start delegate. Why? Because this is the constructor, this is the delegate, right? Which is not taking any parameter. You can see this is the delegate which is not taking any parameter, right? And the parameter as thread start delegate, it is taking one parameter of object type, right? So, and if you look at our method, the method doesn't take any parameter. So by default, right? that thread start delegate is going to be used in this case, and that thread got delegate will take the responsibility of creating an instance and invoking this method, so that this method will start its execution, right? Now, so what I'm trying to do, I'm calling t1 dot start and I'm calling t2 dot start. So basically, I'm starting or I'm running both these methods simultaneously, right? So at some point of time, you will see there is an exception. Why? Because the same, right? Because this method is trying to perform the add operation, and this method is also trying to perform the add operation on the same dictionary. And sometimes you will that it is going to, so this I value is nothing but the key for this dictionary, and this I value is nothing but the key for this dictionary, right? That means both are going to add the same key, so which is not going to be supported in this generic dictionary collection, because in this case the dictionary key should be unique, right? As both thread are trying to do the same operation on the same dictionary object, right? One of the thread is going to give you exception, right? Now let me run the application and see the output. Okay. So in this case, I cannot give guarantee which thread is going to give you the exception, but one of the thread is going to give you the exception, and you know what exception? An item with the same key already has been added, right? So an item with the same key has already been added. You can see this is the exception. Why I'm getting this error or why I'm getting this exception? Because the collection class what we are using here is not a thread set, right? It's not threads. Then what is the solution? The solution is that you have to write the code by yourself, right? Before storing the element, right? Before storing the element, you have to check, right? You have to check whether this key is already being added or not, right? Can anybody tell me what should I need to write to check this? Anybody?
Dictionary. If dictionary contains the I, then we should avoid.
Okay. If dictionary dot contains key, right? And what should be the key here? I,
I, yeah,
right? If contents, then don't do this. If not contents, then only do the things, right?
yeah.
Okay. And you can also do the same thing here, right? Now, now run the application. Again, you are getting the same issue. Even though you are writing the same thing, you will get the issue. Why? Because these two threads are parallelly running, right? Because these two threads are parallelly running, right? And this is the reason why, even though we are using this content key method, still it is going to give me error, right? Why? Because threads, you see, sometimes this method execution started and it finds that this key is not available. At the same time, it is also finding the same key is not available. Then it is just added, then it is again trying to add the same thing, right? So this is not possible, right? So what it means? It means the dictionary collection what I'm using is not a thread set, right? Then any other options available?
Lock methods.
Exactly. So how to write the lock? Can anybody tell me?
Uh, we need to call the object. We need to create the object, lock object, and we need to pass that object to lock method.
Right. So as this lock object is not going to be changed, so I can make this as static and read only. So nobody can going to check this, right? And once you do this, right, before adding, so what you need to write? Right? Lock object, then you need to write these things, right? Right now we are not getting error, right? Now, if you want to see the output, then what you need to do? Can anybody tell me? I need to make sure that thread one complete its execution. I need to make sure thread two complete its execution, right? And once this is completed, then I can use a for each loop, write for each loop, then press tab 2 times, right? It will be created the for each loop collection internally, right? And then I have to write the dictionary here, CW, and then press the tab button twice. It will write the control right line, and right? This dictionary is going to return me what key value pair, right? So how I can access the key? Can anybody tell me?
Item dot
Item dot
keys.
key.
Item dot key, right? You will find the key property and the value, right? The value is going to be, right? What is item dot value, right? Now run the application and you should get the output as expected, right? Right? And you can see some of the elements are added by thread 1 and some of the elements are added by thread 2. So what is the problem? The problem is here we have to write this additional logic, right? If this thing is going to be used at many places, then the same thing I need to do at many places. Writing this log and all these things, I have to write many times, right? Let me copy this code. Right? So this is the example I have given here, right? Using log and the monitor, with the help of log and monitor, you can achieve the output. But so this is the thing that you can achieve and that is but locking the entire list for the sake of adding and removing an item could be a big problem, right? You should not lock this dictionary only for the purpose of adding, right? So basically what you need to do is, and if you are using locking, right, then it could impact your application performance, right? You will not get any you will not get, see, in this case you are using this lock dictionary, right? Dictionary means it is locked, this dictionary. You cannot use this dictionary for any other purpose, right? Even though if you want to access the element by a different thread, still you cannot access this element, right? You cannot access this dictionary, right? So the best solution is to use concurrent collection, right? So best solution is concurrent collection, right? So instead of implementing this locking mechanism additionally, and if you are using locking mechanism, right, then it will internally, right, lock that object and no other thread can access that dictionary, right? If even if any other even if any other thread just want the read operation, then also he will not perform the same, right? That will degrade your application performance, right? Now let me show you, right? I'm just going to show you how you can achieve this using, right? How I can achieve this using concurrent dictionary. Okay, first of all, let me remove all these things. I don't need these things. I don't need to check whether the key is being added or not, right? Let me, I don't need this locking mechanism at all, right? I'm not going to use this thing again, right? This is the same method which I have created at the starting, right? And now this lock, this is also not required. And instead of concurrent dictionary, I'm going to use System.Collections.Concurrent, right? And instead of a dictionary, I'm going to use something called concurrent. What is this? All these things we are going to discuss, right? Again in detail, right? So what I'm trying to do, instead of a dictionary, I'm using concurrent dictionary, and instead of a add method, I'm using try add method, right? And nothing is going to change. This is the thing that you need to do the changes, right? Now let me run the application and show you the output, right? Added by method 1, you can see some of the element are added by method 1 and some of the element are added by method 2. And in this case, I'm not getting any kind of a error or any kind of a exception. Even I'm not checking whether the keys already exist or not. I'm not using internal locking mechanism because the thread shift is internally handled by this concurrent dictionary. Now if you go to the definition, then you will see It represents a thread-safe collection of a key value pair that can be accessed by multiple threads concurrently, right? Suppose, for example, if you are using multi-threaded application, right? If your application is a multi-threaded application, and if multiple threads trying to access the collection, right? Then instead of using generic collection, you should go for this concurrent collection, which will provide thread safety to your application. Is that clear, guys?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right? Then what concurrency does internally, right? A thread safe add or remove from the dictionary, right? A thread safe add or remove from the dictionary. It provides user-friendly method that make it unnecessary for code to check if a key exists before adding or removing, right? That means what? Now, give me 1 minute, guys. Right, so it provides a thread safe manner, right? A thread safe way to add and remove, a thread safe way to add or remove elements from the dictionary. It provides some useful or user-friendly methods that that makes it an unnecessary for code to check if a key exists before adding or removing art. Right. For example, there is a method. So here we have used try-add method. So what exactly this try-add method is going to do? If you go to the dictionary, if you go to the definition, it is returning a Boolean value. What it means? It means if the key is already added, then it will return false and it will not add. And if the key is not added, then it will add the key with the specified value. That means it is trying to add the element. But if it will add the element, then it is going to return true. If it will not add the element, then it is going to return false. This triad method exactly doing the same thing, right? So apart from that, we are having add or update method. Add a new entry if it doesn't exist, else update the existing one. What it means, now if you use this add or update, I'm going to show you all this method one by one with a practical example, but for now I'm just giving you how this concurrent dictionary working internal. Suppose you are using add or update method, then in that case, right, if that key, see in this case, suppose what I'm trying to do is try add. So instead of a try add, you can use try, what is that name? Add or update, right? So you can also use add or update, right? So what this method is taking as a parameter? TKey, TValue, and the update value. Okay, I will show you. I will show you this example after some time. Right? Don't worry now. I will show you. Practical, I will show you. Oh, don't worry. Right? So basically, these are the methods, right? Get or add, try get value, try update, try remove. All these things I will show you practically after some time, right? Then what are concurrent collection classes means? The .NET Framework 4.0 provides new classes for concurrency as concurrent collection, right? So these concurrent collections, what we are going to learn, these classes are introduced as part of a .NET Framework 4.0, and they provide and these classes are basically used to provide thread safety concurrent collections, right? Thread safety concurrent collection, thread safe collections, right? So before, the collections which we are using, like the generic collections, they are not thread safe, but these collection classes, what they say, uh, I mean these concurrent collection classes are thread safe, right? Means you will not get any kind of concurrency issues. These collections classes are specifically used in multi-threading, right? Suppose you are developing one multi-threading application where you are creating multiple threads to use some of the collections, right? Then what you need to do, then you need to go with concurrent collection classes, right? Suppose you are in generic collection classes, you are having dictionary, right? Instead of a dictionary, if you want that a dictionary to be used by multiple threads, right, then you need to use concurrent dictionary. Similarly, you are having concurrent queue. You want a queue data structure. You can, if that queue is going to be used by multiple thread, you can go with concurrent queue. Stacks, right? Simply concurrent stack. This is not stack. This is stack, right? So this is stack. Concurrent bag, right? Instead of creating a list, right? If you are creating a list, then instead of a list you can go with a concurrent bag, and this is one of the important, which is basically used to implement a producer consumer pattern. What is producer and consumer pattern, we will also discuss that in detail. When to use concurrent collections over generic collections, let us read the points. The concurrent collection needs to be used when the collections are getting changed or data is added, updated, deleted by multiple threads, right? If you created a collection and if you see that the data of that collection are getting changed in the sense the data is added, updated, and deleted by multiple threads, then you need to go with the concurrent collections over the generic collection. If logging is needed at a few places, right? Yeah, if in few places, if you want to implement logging, right, manual logging and synchronized staking can be used, right? See, in the second example, I have shown you how to use locking, right? If locking is, if you want that locking in several places, few places, right, then you can go with generic collection and implement the locking. But if the locking is used at multiple places, more number of places, you require locking, right? Then instead of using the locking mechanism at multiple places, then you can simply go with the concurrent collections, right? And concurrent collections are designed to be used in cases when excessive threadship is required, right? So basically, these collection classes are designed where you need threadship, right? Internally, concurrent collections uses several algorithms to minimize thread blocking, right? So these concurrent collection classes are provided by .NET framework, and based on the condition, based on the scenario, right? By taking multiple use cases, right? They are implementing some algorithm internally so that it will give you the best performance, right? When it comes to thread blocking, right, thread safety, it will give you the best performance, right? So basically these are the five different concurrent collection classes, and these five classes we need to understand, right? And once I discuss each of these classes, right, first I will discuss this concurrent dictionary classes, and while I'm discussing concurrent dictionary classes, I'm going to show you the use of all these methods, right? What is add, update, get, or try, get value, right? All these things I'm going to show you with practical examples by taking different scenarios, right? And even I'm also going to show you how to use concurrent dictionary classes with complex data type, right? So let's start the main topic. First of all, you understand, guys, you understand what is concurrent collection, why we need concurrent collection, guys?
Yes.
Right? So what is concurrent collection? Why we need concurrent collection? Right? That is the thing first you need to understand. Once you understand, see, if someone asks you what is the difference between concurrent collection and generic collection, when we need to go with concurrent collection and when we need to go with generic collection, can we achieve the same thing without using concurrent collection? Yes, we can achieve. For that, we need to use the manual locking mechanism, right? Right. So without using concurrent collection, also you can implement your business logic and you can also achieve thread shift. But at that moment, you have to implement the locking manually, right? But if you are using concurrent collections, then you do not need to be worry about the thread safety. That thread safety will be internally managed by the collection, right? So as we discussed, the concurrent dictionary collection was introduced, right? The concurrent collection was introduced in 4.0, means this concurrent dictionary is also introduced as part of 4.0, and this collection class belongs to System.Collections.Concurrent namespace. And as part of this session, what we are going to understand, we are going to understand this point. What is concurrent dictionary? how to create a concurrent dictionary, like the way we are discussing the generic collection classes, the same thing we are going to discuss. What is concurrent dictionary, how to create, how to add element, how to access the element of a concurrent dictionary, how to check the availability of a key value pair in concurrent dictionary, how to remove elements from the concurrent dictionary, right? These are the things which we generally use to, which we generally see in all the collection classes. The same thing we are also going to see here. Apart from that, as I mentioned, I will try to make you understand what is the use of a try update method, what is the use of a add or update method, get or add, try, get value. Then I will show you how to use this concurrent dictionary with complex type. And finally, as it's a dictionary collection, if you want to paste all the keys of the dictionary and if you want to paste all the values of the dictionary, right? Then how we will do this? That is also we are going to discuss, right?
Discuss.
Sorry, saying anything?
Yeah, we're going.
Okay. So what is concurrent dictionary? Right? The concurrent dictionary represents a thread-shaped collection of a key value pair. Generally, what is a dictionary? A dictionary is a collection of a key value pair. Then what is concurrent dictionary? Concurrent dictionary is also a key value pair, but with the thread shape, right? Right? And in this case, thread shape means what? Now this collection can be accessed by multiple thread concurrently without any kind of a concurrency issues. The concurrent dictionary collection stores the element in the form of a key value pair. The working of a concurrent dictionary is very much similar to the working of a generic dictionary collection class. That is what we have already discussed. Then what is the difference between the concurrent dictionary and the generic dictionary means? Thread shape. The generic dictionary is not thread shape, while the concurrent dictionary is thread shape. This is the only difference between these two. It is also possible to use the dictionary class instead of a concurrent dictionary class with multiple thread. But in that case, as a developer, we need to use the log explicitly to provide thread safety, which is always time consuming and error prone, right? So if you are not using concurrent dictionary, then you can also achieve the thread safety with the generic dictionary. But for that case, you need to implement that locking mechanism, right? You have to implement, as a developer, you need to implement the locking mechanism to ensure thread safety, right? If you forget to implement log, right, in some of the threads, then it is going to be a error prone, right? You will get the error, and implementing the same locking at multiple places is also going to be a time consuming process, right? So the ideal choice or ideal scenario to use is concurrent dictionary if you want to store multiple key value pair collection, and if you want that collection to be used by multiple threads, then you have to go with concurrent dictionary, right? The concurrent dictionary class internally manages the locking, which gives us an easy interface to add, remove, and update items, right? This class provides different methods like add, retrieve, update, remove items, right? So all these things we are going to discuss now, right? So,
Maybe I have a question.
yeah, sure. Yeah, ask me your question.
Yeah, I'm asking if the concurrent, I mean, does the concurrent dictionary has an overload in the performance? I mean, why don't we just use it no matter if we are going to have multi-thread or not? So you can you use it anyway, and you will
See,
have a better. Do you
see,
have a worse performance if it's not multi-thread?
basically, this concurrent dictionary collection class provided by .NET framework, right? So .NET framework means before giving the actual class to be to the users to use, they have done the testing multiple times, right? They have to check whether this is the best implementation, the best way, right, for this dictionary. What is the best algorithm that we can use to provide concurrency, right? So basically, if you are implementing the locking with generic dictionary, and if you are using concurrent dictionary, then 100% concurrent dictionary is going to give you better performance comparing with the generic dictionary, because this concurrent dictionary means it is provided by the Microsoft team. They know what is there inside that class, right? They know how to provide, how to implement the thread safety so that it is going to provide the best performance, right? So from the performance point of view, you will they will never compromise, right? You will always get better performance when you are going to use the built-in classes and the built-in mechanism functionality what is Microsoft provided, right? From the performance point of view, concurrent dictionary or concurrent classes will give you 100% better performance over the generic collection classes with the locking, right? Generic collection classes, and if you are using the locking mechanism by your own, then definitely that will be less performance compared to the concurrent dictionary. So from performance point of view, concurrent dictionary will give you better performance than your generic collection, right? But the condition is that only in multi-threaded environment, right? But if you are not using the if you are not if you are creating a collection but that is not going to be used in a multi-threaded environment, then concurrent collection will give you less performance compared to generic collection, right? That is the point that you need to remember. If the application, if the collection is not going to be used by multiple thread, then always the generic collection give you better performance. And if your collection is going to be used by multiple thread, then always concurrent collection is going to give you better performance.
Okay, now I got it. Thanks.
Right? So why it will give you better preference? Because see for handling the multi-thread or multi-threading issue, internally they are implementing some logic, right? So that they can give you better preference in multi-threaded. But that logic will take some time, right? But this logic is not available in your generic collection, right? That will reduce some time if you are using in a single-threaded application, right? But you cannot use that in a multi-threaded application, right? So some points you need to remember while working with the concurrent collections, right? So what are the points? Let's see, right? The concurrent dictionary collection, right? So the key cannot be null, right? Like the dictionary collection, in the case of a concurrent dictionary, the key also cannot be null, but the value can be null, right? If the T value, what you specify here, if it is a reference type, then you can pass a null value. But for primitive data type, the value cannot be null, right? First point is this key cannot be null. This value can be null only for reference type. For a non-reference type like primitive data type, this value cannot be null, right? Second point is that every key in the collection must be unique, right? Every key in the collection must be unique. Duplicate keys are not allowed. But here is the twist. What is the twist? In the case of a dictionary collection, if you try to add a duplicate key, right, at runtime, you will get the exception. But in this case, right, if you try to add a duplicate key, then it will not throw any kind of runtime exception. And even it is not going to add that key into the collection. So it's simply not allowing a duplicate key without throwing any exception. And in the case of a dictionary, right, you will get exception if you try to add the duplicate key. Is that clear, guys?
Yes.
Right. So in this case, don't expect that I'm adding a duplicate key and the concurrent dictionary is going to throw me the exception. It will not throw the exception. Why? Because it's simply, this is the reason why we are using concurrent dictionary. It is implementing the thread safety. So duplicate things is going to be handled by the method what you are using internally, right? In concurrent dictionary, right, you can store only the same type of data like the generic dictionary. See why? Because it, even though it's a concurrent dictionary, it is also using the generic parameter. Using this generic parameter, you need to specify the type of the key and the type of the value. That means what type of key you define or what type of value you define, you can only store that type of a key and that type of a value. If you try to store other type of a key and value, then it is going to give you the compilation error. The capacity of the concurrent dictionary is nothing but the number of elements that the concurrent dictionary can hold, right? And again it's a dynamic in nature. What it means, now as soon as the number of elements you are adding, right, the size of the collection is also going to be increased automatically, right? So there is no restriction on the number of elements you can add. You can add any number of elements and automatically the size of the collection is going to be increased, right? So how to create means, first of all, you need to bring the namespace. Which namespace? You need to bring the system.collections this concurrent namespace, right? So basically there are many constructors, but as we are going to do everything from the scratch, so we need to use the constructor which doesn't take any parameter, right? So you need to import the namespace, right? Like the dictionary, right? While you are creating the object, dictionary collection object, you need to specify the key and value. Similarly, for the concurrent dictionary also, you need to specify the key and value. What is the key data type? What is the value data type that you need to specify, right? And how to add elements into a concurrent dictionary means by using the key value pair, right? So basically, this concurrent dictionary provide many options, but let us try to understand this option first. One option is try-add method, right? So one option is try-add method. What exactly this try-add method is going to do? It is going to add an element with the specified key and value into the dictionary collection, right? Here the parameter key specifies the key of the element to add, and the parameter value specifies the value of the element to add. The value can be null for a reference type, but the key cannot be null. This method returns true if the key value pair was added to the collection successfully, false if the key already exists. If key is null, then it will throw argument exception, right? Right. So key should be unique, right? If the key value pair already added, right? If the key already exists in the collection, then this method is simply going to return you false. If the key is not exist in the collection, then it is going to add this key value pair to the collection, and the method is going to return true. The key cannot be null, right? And this value, right? This value can be null for reference type. And if you pass key as a null value, then you will get argument null exception, right? For example, I'm creating a collection, right? I'm specifying the string as the key as well as string as the values. And by using this dictionary.add method, right, I'm adding few elements, right? And here you can see key is going to be string and the value is also going to be string. This is not new, right? So what we are using with the dictionary collection, right? Using the add method, the same thing here I'm using this try-add method and achieving the same thing, right? How to access the element of a concurrent dictionary collection, right? You are having three options, right? By using the index, right, you can access. If you want to access this element, you can use uk as a key, right? Right, by using the indexer you can access the element. By using a for loop you can access the element, and by using a for each loop you can also access the element. And in this case, it's also a dictionary, means it is also a dictionary. Whether it's a concurrent dictionary or whether it is a dictionary, it will be going to store the data in the form of a key value pair. So while you are retrieving the element from this collection, you can use key value pair class to retrieve the data, right? And then you can access the key by using the key property, and you can access the value by using the value property, right? In this case, right, there are two properties. One is keys, which is going to return all the keys of the dictionary, and another property is values, right, which is going to return all the values of the dictionary, right? And if I am going to use a for each loop, right, first of all I need to identify for this particular index position 0 what key is there, and how I can use. Now first I need to access dictionary context.keys. It is going to return me all the keys. From all these keys, right, at element at I means what? Now what element is there at the index position I means it will be 0 1 2 3 like this. At this index position 0 what key is there, that key is going to be written. And once you got the key, right, by using the indexer and by using that key, we can access the element, right? Let us see one example and try to understand all these things.
Sir, actually one doubt.
Yeah, ask me.
Can I? Okay. So that keys property can we access only in for loop, or can we access in for each loop also?
Sorry?
That we have properties, no, two properties. One is
Okay,
keys.
okay. You can access. So, okay, you just tell me. Okay. So, in this example, right, this KVP, this dictionary countries is going to return me what type of a data? Key value pair, right? So, it is going to return me key value pair. So, if I type this keys, then now this is going to return me what? Collection of a
Keys, strings.
collection of a string, right? So in that case, you can write like this, right? So you can write like this, right? So why you can write like this? If you go to the definition of keys, so it is going to return a collection. So collection means you can use in a for each loop. If you want to access all the values, right? Then what you need to do? Already we have seen this thing many times, right? So value, you can access the value like this. So there is no issue. You can access only keys, you can access only values, and you can store it like this. I don't understand what is your question,
No, no, so got it.
right? Because see, let me show you dictionary, right? I think you have not going through the document what I'm providing. What is this? Getting the only values. To get all the values in dictionary, use values properties, right? And here what I'm using for each loop. To get all the keys, right? I'm using a for each loop to access the keys. That means you are not going through the documents. You are not doing much more practices. Yes or no? Already this thing are explained. If you are not doing practices, then it will be difficult to understand the concept, right? And because these things are already covered. Okay, fine. Right. So in this example, okay, let me remove this thing, right? And here you can see I'm adding some elements using the try add method, right? So guys, so one more thing. So whatever document I'm sharing, please do practices more again and again, because see, only attending the session and going through the document is not enough. Practices is important, right? Not only one, not only twice. Many times you need to do the practice, right? And try to observe what is happening. And while you are doing the practice, always do practices using the debugger, right? Please debug each statement, debug each line, and see what is happening in each statement, right? Then you will get to know what is exactly happening behind the scene, right? See, so in this case, I'm creating a concurrent dictionary where I'm specifying the key and value both are string. I'm adding the element using the try add method, right? And here you can see I'm adding the same element, the same key. So in this case, this India key is already added to this collection. And again, I am trying to add this IND key to this collection. And at this moment, right, at this time, right, it is not going to throw me any exception. Even though it is not throwing any exception, this element is also not going to add into the dictionary. And in this case, this triad method will return me false, indicating that this element is not added to the collection, right? In this case, let me type something, right? Is added. So, right? So is added. So in this case, this triad method will return me true, and in this case, it will return me false. right? So in this case, this variable is added is going to store true because this method is going to return true. And in this case, this triad method is going to store false as this method is going to return false. And as I told earlier, storing the output value is always optional. So in this case, you can see I'm not storing the output value. That is fine because storing the output value is optional. In this case I'm storing, in this case I'm not storing. That is fine. So as it is optional, if you want you can store, if you do not want then don't store it, right? So in this case this element will not be added because it's a duplicate key, and as it's a duplicate key this method is going to return me false. And then by using a for each loop I'm accessing all the elements. Instead of a key value pair, you can also simply use the var keyword. And I do not need to explain this key value pair again because already explained this is a class, and this class having two properties. One is key to hold the key value, and one other property is value to hold the value, right? And in this case this is the type for the key and this is the type for the value. And here we mentioned TKey as string and TValue as string. That means the key value type is going to be string and the value type is going to be string. And in this case this concurrent dictionary, it is going to return that string key and string value, and that will be stored inside the key and value properties, right? Then I'm using a for each loop, and this element at method is belongs to a different namespace, that is system.linQ. That is what I have added, right? And this namespace is not required anymore, right? Yes, it is required because this key value pair belongs to that generic namespace, right? So then I'm using this element at I method. So this I means this is the index position 0. So for the right the index position. So what key is available in index position 0? So from this dictionary, from this keys collection, what key is available inside this index position? That key will be stored here, and once you get the key, you can get the value by using the indexer, right? And once you get the value, then you can print the key and the values. Even though directly by using the indexer key, you can access the element like this, right? So this is by using the index keys, this is by using the for loop, and this is how you can access the element by using the for each loop. And guys, as this concurrent dictionary class does not have any add method, right? This class doesn't have any add method. I'm not talking about add update or try add, get add, right? This is not, I'm not talking. Simply add method. As this collection class doesn't have any add method, so you cannot use collection initializer. And I'm able to access the element by using index position, right? Because of this integer indexer, right? So because of this indexer, I'm able to access the element, right? So now let me run the application and show you the output. See, even though I'm adding the duplicate key in this example, you can see the duplicate key is not there. Clear? How to create, how to add, and how to access the elements of a concurrent dictionary, guys.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Right? Then now how to check the availability of a key value pair? Already we have discussed, right? There is a method called contents key, and by using that contents key method, you can check whether a key is exist in the concurrent dictionary or not, right? If you go to the definition, then you will find one method called contents key, right? And this method determines whether the concurrent dictionary contains the specified key. If the key is available, it will return true, else it will return false, right? Similarly, that is the thing, right? So here I'm using the concurrent dictionary, creating, adding some elements, right? Accessing all the elements, and then I'm trying to find the key USA. Is the USA key exist in this dictionary? Yes, exists. So it will return true. Is the keys SL exist in this dictionary? No, it is not exist. So this content scheme method is going to return me false, right? So this is, we have already discussed many times, and you can see it is going to return me true, and SL key is going to return me false. Clear? This content scheme method. how to find a key is exist in the concurrent dictionary or not. Clear or not, guys?
Here.
Okay, fine. Now we are going to discuss how to remove elements from the concurrent dictionary, right? It is something different than the other thing what we have discussed so far. So you can remove the method, you can remove the element from the dictionary using two approaches. One is try remove, another is clear method. No need to explain about this clear method, because if you call this clear method, then the collection is going to be empty. All the elements are going to be deleted. We need to understand this method, right? So you can see this try remove method taking two parameters. One is try key and another is out t value. That means what? Now this method is try to remove the element and return that removed element from of that specified key from the concurrent dictionary, right? So here you need to specify the key that you want to remove and another parameter you want to specify, and that parameter is going to contain the value of that removed key. If the key is removed and if the key is exist in the dictionary, then that element will be removed from that dictionary, right? And the associated value of that key will be stored inside this variable. If the key is doesn't exist, suppose you are passing one key which is not exist in the dictionary, then this method is going to return false, right? And this t value is going to store the default value based on the data type. What based on the data type? If the data type is integer, it is going to store 0. If the data type is boolean, it is going to store false value, right? If the data type is string, it is going to store null value. If the data type is going to be employee, product, anything, any complex type, then also it is going to store null value. But if you are passing this key as a null, then you will get null argument exception. Is that clear?
It's okay.
Yeah. Right. So same thing, same example, I'm creating the dictionary, adding some element, printing all the elements from the dictionary. Now please observe here, right? So here what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to remove the element USA. Is there any element USA available in this collection? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right. So in this case, right, in this case, US is available. So in this case, this try remove method, what he is trying to do is, right, is remove that and here you can see I'm passing another value, remove to country, right? So what will happen in this case? Can anybody tell me? If you understand what I explained, then you should tell me what will happen in this case.
The mode control will store Chicago, New York, Washington string.
All right. So if this key is available inside this dictionary, then what is the associated value that will be stored inside this variable, and this method is going to return true, and that will be stored inside this result variable. Clear? Right. So in this case, the key is available, right? So in this case, the key is available. So this element will be removed from this collection. This value, what is associated with the key, that will be stored inside the string variable, and this result variable is going to store true because this element is removed. So the try remove method will return true. So in this case, each USA key removed, the result will be true, and removed value, whatever stored inside this variable, that will be stored, right? Now, right? Where this variable is created. Now, each SL key is exist in this collection. Is this SL key exist in this collection?
No.
No. So if it is not exist, then what it will store inside this variable?
Null,
Null. Why?
because it is not existed.
No, if it is not existed, why it is going to store null? Because null is the default value of the string data type. What way parameter you are passing? You are passing a removed country. What is the data type? String. The default value of string data type is null. So by default, see in this statement, when you execute this statement, as of now, this removed country is holding this value, right? The removed country is holding this value. But when you execute this statement, right? So when you execute this statement, so as this parameter, right, as this key doesn't exist in our collection, the remove country, right, this try remove method will store the default value of this data type to this variable, right? And the default value of string is null, so it will store null value inside this parameter, right? And then this result variable, this try remove method is going to return what value? It is going to return false. So in this case, you will see that this is SL key removed, it is going to return false, and removed value, it is not going to print anything, right? And after you remove this USA element, again I'm using the for each loop to print all the values, and you can see the two elements you can India, but you will not find this USA. And after removing all elements, the count is going to be 0. See, you can see all concurrent dictionary elements removed using try remove method. Is USA key removed? Yes. Removed value, this is the removed value. Is SL key removed? No. Return false. Removed value, null. Null, you cannot see a new LL in the screen. It's simply going to print blank, right? And the concurrent dictionary element after removing USA key, India and UK. Concurrent dictionary element count after clear is 0. Is that any question from this example?
Yes.
Clear?
Yeah, what question?
Yeah,
well, what happens if the key exists, right? Suppose you try to remove USA, right? But
yes.
it's a multi-thread application, and another thread has the value blocked or hold or whatever. What would be the answer?
See, in that case, I'm saying that will be managed by the dictionary collection, right? You will not get any kind of a concurrency issues, right? If the first thread who uses this try remove method, if he remove that element, right, other thread who is trying to access the element, they will not get the data, right? That concurrency is going to be handled by this concurrent dictionary. This is the reason why we are going to use this concurrent dictionary. And if you go to the concurrent dictionary class, then you will see all the methods, right? All the methods are going to be try, update, try, remove, try, add, getter, add, getter, add or update, right? Means what? They are not only going to perform a specific operation, other options is also available. Other option means see, here we do not have any add method. Here we are having triad method. What it means? It means it is going trying to add the element, but there is no guarantee that the element is going to be added, right? You can say try remove. Try remove means what? It will try to remove the element, but there is no guarantee that it is going to remove the element. If the key is available, then it will remove. If the key is not available, then it will not remove, right? Suppose one of the thread trying to remove, right, and another thread is trying to add, that is fine. One of the thread, if the thread which is executing one method, if this element remove, if another try add, then that method is going to add the element, right? There is no issue because there is it is not specific they are going to do the one operation, get or add. What it means, either it will get the value if the value is not available, otherwise it will add the key value, right? We are also going to discuss this thing, right? So the thing that you need to remember, that concurrency, that thread safety is going to be handled by this collection, generic collection, right? And this is the reason why we are going to use this one. Clear? I will discuss other methods, then you will get more clarity, right? So I have shown you now there are many different methods. Once you understand all the methods, then you will understand and you will get more clarity. but that thread safety internally going to be managed, right? It's going to be managed by the collection. So you will not get any kind of a threading or concurrency issues. Right. Let me update the output.
So the answer will be the same no matter if the key doesn't exist or if the key exists, but it's used by another. Suppose they're trying to update, try update. So
Okay.
another thread is trying to update and you're trying to remove, okay? The
Yeah.
answer will be the same, will be null, because the other one has it blocked.
See, once I explain this, so that is why I'm saying now. Please keep patience, because what is your question? Try update, right? Once I explain this method, right? Try update, right? Add or update, then you will get more clarity, right? This is what I'm
Okay.
going to explain now, right? What is your question? Try update, try add or update, right? Try get value. Once I explain, then you will get some clarity, right? So as of now, I have just discussed the concept, right, which are available in other collection classes, right? Trying to remove some element, right? Adding some element, checking whether an element exists or not, right? This thing we have discussed, right? Now we are going to discuss something which is important from the concurrent point of view, right? So the concurrent dictionary collection class provides some important methods. Let us discuss. One of the method is try update, right? What is this method is going to do? This method is used to update the value, right? So try update means what? It is not like the way you are updating in other collection classes, right? Simply use the indexer and put the value. This is not possible. Here you have to use the try update method. And when you are using try update method, how it is going to work? Let us see. This method is used to update the value associated with the key to new value if the existing value is with key is equal to the comparison value. Okay, let me directly give you one example so that you will get more clarity, right? So in this case, I'm creating this dictionary adding few elements, right? Forget about this collection. This is the same for each loop, which is going to iterate over the collection and printing the key value pair, right? Here I'm using the try update method, right? Here I'm using the try update method, and here it is not like that you can update by using the indexer key and you can specify the value. This is not possible, right? Here you have to use try update. Here I'm specifying the key. I want to update the key UK, right? And I only want to update the value to in United Kingdom only if the existing value is united, right? If the existing value is united of this particular key UK, then please update the value to United Kingdom update. For this UK key, what is the current value? United Kingdom. Is the current value same as this one? Yes or no? Is the current value of UK is same as what I am providing here in try update method?
No, it is not same.
If it is not, then this try update method will not update this value, right? Will not update this key value with this one. And in that case, this try update method is going to return false, right? So in this case, you will see is the UK update, it is going to return false, and you can access the value, right? Like this, and you will see that old value, what is there, that will be printed here. Now coming to the second statement. I'm trying to update this India key, right? India key, and this India key value will be updated if the existing value of INT key is India. Right? What is the existing value of INT key? India. And this what value you are provided here is match with that value? Yes or no?
Yes.
Guys,
Yes, matching.
if matched, then it will update this key value to India updated, right? So in that case, it will update it and it will give you the output to as false, right? So let me run the application. See, the first one is giving me false, right? Why it is giving me false in this case? Because the keys exist, right? But the what I'm supplying the value for the try update method. See, in this case, if you look, so comparison value, and this is the new value. So the comparison value, what I am providing, it is not matched with the original value. And this is the reason why this new value will not be updated. So in this case, the comparison value I'm providing India and it is matched with the existing value. So the new value, what I'm providing, that will be updated. This is the use of this triad method, right? Now suppose, so and you can see in this example, UK value is not updated. UK is still giving me the existing value United Kingdom, but for India key, right, I'm getting the value as India updated. Why? Because this condition satisfied, right? In this case, it is going to update the India key. Clear? Well, how this try update method work, guys? Right? So can anybody tell me, if I'm passing SL here, what will happen? Right? If I'm passing SL, what will happen?
False.
Why?
Because it doesn't exist. So it doesn't compare.
Exactly. Right? So in this case, you will see that SL key does not exist and SL key value India. Right? Why it is showing me India? Yes, I'm passing here India. So I need to use SL here. Right?
Okay, now try. Excuse me if I am a bit nagging you now, but try to update the first one and remove it at the same time.
Sorry? So in this case, this statement is going to give you error because this key is not exist, right? So dictionary countries, you are trying to access one element, but in this case, it is going to return me on these things, right? What it will return, this key is not exist, so it will going to give you error, right? The key doesn't exist, right? So what is your question?
Okay, instead of, okay, you have the first one where the key exists, right? United Kingdom exists. I want to remove United Kingdom in the lower one.
So you want to remove this one,
Yeah, but in the second statement.
right? See, if you remove this one, and again, if you are trying to update the value, the same thing will happen now in this statement, what I'm showing. In this case, suppose in this statement, SL is removed, and then I'm trying to update the SL. This is the same thing, na?
No, it's not the same thing. I want to remove United Kingdom instead of updating it. Try update. I try remove in the lower one, in the lower statement, in the lower
Yes.
dot. There,
Okay.
I want to remove United Kingdom there.
Fine. See, why I'm saying same thing. Suppose you removed this statement, right? Out of these two, whether this statement or this statement, any one statement is going to be executed first. Yes or no?
Well, you don't know which one is going to be executed first.
Forget about. If this statement execute fast, right? If this statement execute fast, then it will not update the value, right? Okay. Let me change this to United Kingdom, right? I'm explaining both the scenario. This statement execute fast means what? The value is updated, and then other thread execute this statement means what? This statement will remove the element. This is one scenario. Yes or no? Suppose this is executed by thread 1, this statement execute fast, right? And this is thread 2. This is going to be executed by thread 2. And this is second. So this is one of the scenario, right? So in this scenario, this will update the value and this will remove the value, right? But it might be possible that this try remove method will be executed first and then this one. So in that case, it will let assume this is fast. So in that case, this statement will be removed, right? This statement will remove in the sense what will happen. Now the element is removed, right? If the element is removed, then this statement then execute and then this statement is find that the key doesn't exist. So in that case, it is going to return me false. Yes or no?
Yeah, right. So that means that you cannot predict the result, but you have to program
Yeah, that is what I'm saying now.
regarding, I mean, according to the result you get, but you cannot
Exactly,
predict what's going to
exactly,
happen. Okay, now I get it. Thanks.
exactly. So you are using multi-threading means what? Which method is going to execute, which thread is going to execute first? We cannot simply predict, right? It might be possible that this statement will execute first by one thread. This is going to be executed by the second thread, right? Or it might be possible this statement will be executed first by one thread, and this is the other thread is going to execute. But anyway, they are not going to throw you or they are not going to give you any kind of exception. Why? Because we are using the try remove method, right? They are not. This is the reason why if you look at the concurrent dictionary class, right? So any method you take, they are not meant for a single purpose, right? You can see this is not add method or update method, add or update. This is not only get or add, this is get or add. This is try or add, this is try get value, this is try remove, right? So what it means, try update, what it means? It means they are not intended for a single operation, right? They are trying to do, if possible, they will do, if not possible, they will not do. And sometimes they are going to do two different operations, get the value or add the value. That is what we are also going to discuss, right? But for now, this try update method is clear, guys.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. The second method, what we are going to discuss, add or update method. You can see this method taking one key value, one add value, and one function delegate, right? Update value factor, right? So basically one key, one value, and one delegate it is taking, right? So let us understand what exactly this add or update method does. Now, if the key does not exist, the add or update will add it. If the key exists, then the add or update method override it with the value written by the update factory delegate. That means what? If the key exists, right? So if the key does not exist, whatever value you are providing, that will be added to the existing collection with this key. If the key exists, then this value will not be added. Whatever you are specifying in this delegate, right, that value will be updated with this existing key, right? Let us understand this with an example, right? So because sometimes theory will very difficult to understand, and once you see the practical example, then you will get more clarity. So in this case, I'm having the collection, right? I'm having the for each loop, right? So here I'm using the add and update method, right? And you can see here I'm using the lambda expression, right? Lambda expression. And here my key is UK and my value is United Kingdom. And I'm passing these two parameters, this key and this value. This K is represented this one, this V is represented this kingdom, right? So what will happen? Now in this case, if this key already available in this dictionary, right? Then what value you are providing here will be updated. If this key is not available in this dictionary, then this key will be added along with this value. So for this example, UK key is available or not?
Yes.
It's available. If this key is available, then whatever value you are specified using the lambda expression, that value will be updated for this key. Coming to the second example, is SL key available in the dictionary? No. SL key is not available in this dictionary. So in this case, this SL key will be added to dictionary with this Sri Lanka value. If the key available, whatever you are specifying using the delegate or you can say lambda expression, that value will be updated for this key. If the key does not exist, then whatever value you are providing, right, that value will be added to the dictionary along with this key. So in this case, UK value will be updated. In this case, SL key will be added with this value. Clear?
Yep.
Yes.
Right? And this is nothing but your lambda expression we have discussed many times, right? This key is nothing but it represents the key and B is represent the value properties, right? And in this case, the key is this one and the value will be updated with this one. See, in this case, you can see initially, this is my collection, USA, India, UK, and the UK key is already exists, right? So UK key is exist. So in this case, you can see UK value is updated as the key is exist, right? If the key is exist, then this add or update method will update the value of the key. If the key does not exist, then it will behave like a add method. If the key exists, it will behave like a update method. And in this case, you can see SL key is not exist in the second example, so it will behave like a add method. So it will add that key value here into the collection. If the key available, then it will behave like a update method. So it will update the key with the value what you are specifying using the lambda expression. Clear? Guys?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Another method is get or add method, right? What is the use of this get or add method? The get or add method of this collection, right, is same as add or update, right? This get or add, what I am going to use, right? It is same as add or update method, right? Except it will not change the existing value. It will only return it, right? In the previous case, add or update, right? If the key exists, right? In this case, if the key exists, then it will perform the update operation. Yes or no? In this add or update method, right? If the key exists, then it will perform the update operation or not.
Right.
If the key does not exist, then it will perform what operation?
Add.
Add operation. Similarly, this is same as what it means. Now, if the key exists, right, it will only perform a get operation. It will return the value. If the key is not exist, then it will perform the add operation, and after adding, it will return the value. Clear? Okay,
Clear.
let me give you the example so that you will get more clarity. Right? So in this case, I don't need to explain this thing, right? So in this case, get or add, right? Get or add. So is this UK key exist in the collection? Is this UK key exist in the collection?
Yes.
If the UK key is exist in the collection, then it will not add. So here I'm saying United Kingdom 2, right? Whatever value you specify, no matter. This key exist means what is the associated value of that key in the collection that will be written and stored inside this variable. Clear? So in this case, if the key exists, then it will perform a get operation. Get operation means what? What value is associated, right? What value is, give me guys 1 minute. Right? So basically what it means, now if the key exists, it will do a get operation. If the key does not exist, it will do a add operation. If the key exists, get operation means what is the value available for that key in the dictionary, that value it will return. And in this case, it will first add the key into the collection. After adding the key with this value, then it will return that value, right? So in this case, you will see in this case I'm passing here United Kingdom 2, but you will see it is going to return me United Kingdom, because in this case it is not doing any addition operation, simply it is returning the value. And in this case, whatever key value I'm passing, that key is not exist, so it will add this key value pair into the collection, and then it will return the value of that particular key, right? Let me run the application. Right, so you can see here I'm providing the key value pair, right? So you can see UK, the value is United Kingdom. For SL, the value is Sri Lanka. And in this case, you can see, so in this case, you can see UK United Kingdom 2 I have passed here, but the value what it is returning me United Kingdom, right? And in this case, SL Sri Lanka, the key is Sri Lanka, the value SL, and the value is going to be Sri Lanka. So basically, this is not going to, so basically it's like get the value if the key is existing, and if the key doesn't exist, then add the value, then get the value, right? Is that clear? Right?
Yes.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay. Give me guys 1 minute.
ಆಯ್ತಮ್ಮ
Okay. So this is fine. Next, what we are going to discuss, try get value, right? So what is this try get value? Let us try to understand. Okay, this method is attempt to get the value associated with the specified key from the dictionary. It returns true if the key was found in the current dictionary, otherwise false. The parameter key specify the key of the value to get. The parameter value contains the object from the dictionary that has the specified key, or the default value of the type if the operation failed. If the key exists in the concurrent dictionary, it will return true, and the value with that associated key is stored on the variable. So let me directly explain you with one example, right? So in this case, this is my dictionary collection having some elements, right? And I'm just using for each loop to print all the values, right? Try get value India, and the out is result 1. So what will happen now in this case, if this India key exists in this dictionary, right? If this India key exists in this dictionary, then this method is going to return true. And if this method return true, then what is the value associated with this key? That value will be stored inside this variable. Clear?
Clear.
Right? And if this key is not available in this dictionary, then this method is going to return false, right? It is going to return false. And in that case, what is the data type of this parameter? Based on the data type, it will store the default value, right? So if India key exists, yes, India key exists, then it is returning true. This if block is going to be executed. In this case, Sri Lanka key is not exist in our dictionary. So in that case, this method will return false, and in that case, the else what is going to be executed, right? So try get value means what? It will try to get the value if the key exists. If the key doesn't exist, then it will not get the value, right? You can see the output. Any question from anyone? Clear?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. The next is concurrent dictionary with collection complex type, right? So as we know, the type parameter, what you need to specify, that is completely under your control. What it means, if you want, you can specify the type as a primitive data type like integer, float, right, boolean, or even though if you want, you can also specify some complex data type, right? Complex data type in the sense you can specify student, product, anything, right? So you can see the operation is going to be same. So here I'm simply creating one class. I'm creating few objects and adding those objects using the triad method, and then I'm just using the for each loop to loop through the collection and print the values, right? So this is the same thing. So whatever operations we have discussed so far, right, everything is going to be performed and without any issues, right? So this is how you can work with the complex data type. Now the last thing that what I'm going to discuss is how to get all the key and values, right, of the collection, right? We have already discussed many times, right? If you want to get all the keys, right, if you go to the dictionary collection, then you will find there are two properties. One is keys properties, another one is values properties. This keys property is going to return me this keys property is going to return me all the keys, right? In this case, all the keys, and I'm going to print all the keys, right? Here I'm getting the keys, and once I get the keys, I can paste the value and I can print the values. And if you are using this values properties, right, then it is going to return all the values. And once you get the values, and then you can print the values, or whatever operation you want, you can do with that values, right? So all the keys, all key and values, and all the values. Clear, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's it for today. Anybody having any question, they can ask me now.
Sir, I have one question. So, in case of like, if we don't have threading also, if we use this concurrent dictionary and
Then
in place of dictionary,
if you are not using threading, then it will degrade your application performance.
okay,
Why? Because if for implementing the threading, right, internally they are implementing some logic, which is not in the case of generic collections, right? If threading is not your, if you are not implementing threading, then why you want to give that little bit extra time by implementing this concurrent dictionary? Right? So nothing is free in this world, right? If they are providing thread safety, means what? Internally they are doing some kind of operation. That operation will take some time, right? And if you are developing a single threaded application, then why you need to give that extra time to this concurrent dictionary? You understand?
because we have one advantage in this, no? So because we are suppose if adding duplicates, it is not throwing error. It is
But
instead
but if you are adding duplicate, it is not throwing any error. But you can also achieve the same thing using your generic collection.
yeah, okay.
Right? So already we have discussed, you can check whether the key exists or not. If not exist, then add it, right? But then why you should use this one, right? See, so to be frank, if you are not developing some multi-threading application, then don't use concurrent collections. And if you are using a multi-threading application, then use concurrent collections, right?
Okay. Okay.
Any question from anyone? Guys? Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you everyone.
Thanks.